Welcome back. All right, so 10 games to review, and if you're looking for the reviews of any of the early games already on the channel, you can already find them. So, that being said, we're going to start things off with the earlier of the 10 games to look at, and that is the Islanders and the Florida Panthers. So, this one started at 3 o'clock my time. Sorokin versus Stolarz, early press by the Islanders. However, the shots are 2-0 for the Panthers, 2.5 minutes in. Panthers press at 5.5 minutes. The shots were 4-0 at 6.5 minutes. Sorokin busy and good, and when he needed to be. Islanders press at 9.5 minutes. They finally get their first shot. Lindell has a net feed that's net drive that's blocked. Rodriguez is denied. It's all Florida at this point, but the Islanders get a power play, and it takes 7 seconds on their third shot. The Islanders get on the board. It's Lee from Palmieri and Horvat at 12:36. Panthers look to answer, and they would. A little over a minute later at 13:42, it's Reinhart from Rodriguez and Montour. Tic-tac-toe into the net. Power play for Florida. I just say that because I always say tic-tac-toe goal, and for people who are new to hockey, they may not understand the terminology as pass, in. All right, so power play for Florida. There's a post for Rodriguez. That power play's killed off. Nelson with a buzzer beater attempt that's saved. It is 1-1 after 1. Second period, Rodriguez has a net feed that's picked off. Luostarinen has a rush that's denied. And at 4:37, Engvall scores to put the Islanders ahead. Romanov and Nelson with the assists. Panthers press at 8 minutes. Ekblad to Tkachuk, near miss there. And then at 9:12, it's Holmstrom burying a rebound from Gauthier and Horvat. So Horvat with a couple of helpers tonight. But again, Florida would answer. To make it 3-2, it's Tkachuk. It's a turnover. It's buried. Verhaeghe with the assist at 13:14. So that makes it 3-2 for the Islanders. Nelson exits after an awkward fall, and this was already an Islanders team that was shorthanded because Barzal was a late scratch, so not optimal for the Islanders. Post then for the Islanders shortly thereafter, or power play for the Islanders shortly after. A post for Dobson. They cycle. That power play is killed off. With 3 seconds left, the Panthers get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. The Islanders do finish the kill. And then Gauthier. It's a face-off win by Horvat. Gauthier buries it at 3:43. So Horvat with 3 helpers on the night. And it was against the flow of play. Florida was doing their Florida thing in the third period, dominant, and the Islanders just scored. The shots are 9-1 for Florida 6 minutes in. So that one shot went in for the Islanders. Panthers press at 6.5 minutes. Eventually they get it. Verhaeghe scores from Forsling and Ekblad at 9:35, and then the Panthers continue pressing, trying to tie it. They do press in the final minute, and Montour is denied at the buzzer. So 6-on-5, they were dangerous, but the Islanders hold on. They win 4-3. They go to 10-7-6 with the win. Florida drops to 14-8-2 with the loss. The shots on net, 16-8 Florida in the first, 13-11 Islanders in the second, 19-6 Florida in the third. Final shots, 46-27 for the Panthers. Power plays, the Islanders 1-for-2, Florida 0-for-2. The hits, 20-15 for the Islanders. Sorokin saved 43 out of 46. He's been playing pretty well lately. Stolarz 23 saves on 27 shots. So big win for the Islanders. We'll see if they can build some momentum off of it. All right, next up, Buffalo in against Carolina. So Carolina tonight looked more like Carolina, and Kochetkov thankfully had a bounce back after a really rough game last time out. So it's Comrie versus Kochetkov. Shots are 2 apiece, 3.5 minutes in. Bounce back for Kochetkov early. You could see he was more dialed in and better positional play and all that. Things get punchy at 6:23. The Sabres come out of that with a power play. That's killed off. 1 shot on the power play. Canes were stuck on 2 shots for a while. Jarvis then has one that nearly deflects in. Aho can't bury one on a 2-on-1. The Canes have a 3-on-2. That's defended. Pesce has a one-timer that's held, but then Aho. Top shelf from the slot. Jarvis and Slavin with the assists at 15:28. And a little over a minute later, Drury buries a rebound. Natchez and Chatfield with the assists at 16:36. So that makes it 2-0 Carolina. And the Canes had all the momentum after the first period, up by 2. Second period, there's an early power play for the Canes, and they score on it. It's Aho from Svechnikov and Burns at 1:06. It's a one-timer from the slot, so not much chance for Comrie there. It makes it 3-0. The shots are 4-1 Carolina, 3 minutes in. Sabres get a power play. It becomes 42 seconds of 5-on-3, and it was a 4-minute penalty. I, too, was surprised that they upheld the 4-minute penalty on the review, because I felt that it was a Buffalo player that lifts the Carolina stick into the Buffalo player's face, but they upheld the 4-minute power play. So it's an aggressive penalty kill by the Canes, and they do kill it off. Sabres press with 8 minutes left. This is where they announced Greenway, who got hurt early in the game, would not return. And then Nason Great pass. And Natchez Slavin with the assists of 14-12 on the Nason goal. Kane's press, there's a post for Shea, so they're still going for more. There's no letting up. There's a near miss for Kotkaniemi. Things get punchy with 2:15 left, and the Canes end up with a power play, and they score on it. It's Teravainen, cross-ice pass from Svechnikov, and it's roofed by Teravainen. Burns with the other assist at 18:04. So after 2 periods of play, it's 5-0, and I was thinking, all right, is this a no-mercy game? The answer would be no. A bit of a let-up in the third period, I guess you could say. Early edge for the Canes, but at 4:07, Mittelstadt scores from Jokiharju and Tuck. Aho with a near miss on a rush. Then there's a power play for the Sabres, and Shea scores on the penalty kill from Teravainen at 8:05. I believe it was a Jarvis shorthanded rush that was held by Comrie that set up that faceoff where they scored shorthanded. And then, of course, Carolina finishes the kill. At 9:24, though, with Kochetkov coming out to win a race for a puck, he did not, so he was not in the net. Jost scores from Krebs there, so that's a bit of a whoops for Kochetkov, but he can have that. Sabres press with 4 minutes left. They would get no closer. Your final score 6-2. Carolina improves to 14-8-1 in the season. Buffalo 10-12-2, and this is just getting ugly for Buffalo now. Shots on net, 10-7 Carolina in the first, 11-7 Carolina in the second, 14-8 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 35-22 Carolina. Power plays, Buffalo 0-for-5. Carolina scored on both power plays. They had hits 19-6 Buffalo. Comrie saves 29 out of 35. Kochetkov saves 20 out of 22. So, yeah, interesting night in Carolina. All right, Detroit and Montreal. So, les Red Wings de Detroit, as my old French teacher used to say. I did take French most of the way through school, being Canadian and also having been raised near an army base. I took French from grade 1 right through to grade 10. It's Husso versus Allen. I can't butcher the language so bad without understanding some of it. So the shots are 3-0 for the Wings at 2 minutes. Any new subscribers are completely baffled. Don't worry about it. Just sit through a live stream. You'll see it. So Caulfield goes beast mode, but that gets broken up by the Wings. No shots for the Habs at 5 minutes. And then at 7:21, during a delayed penalty, Veleno scores from Raymond and Wallman. So it becomes 1-0 Detroit. Habs look to answer. There's a net feed to Caulfield. Near miss there. Monahan has a blast that's held. We end up with a power play for the Habs not long after, and Detroit scores shorthanded. It is Fisher from Rasmussen at 11:44, and then the most important part, the Wings finish the kill. Monahan fans on one. It's cleared out after that. The Habs press with a minute and a half left, but on an end-to-end rush, Sprong. He loves that number 17, apparently. He scores from Sider at 19:20, but Montreal showing some fight back here. Barron would score from Suzuki at 19:54. It was a one-timer. Buries a rebound. It's 3-1 Detroit after one. Second period, the Habs had the only shot on net 3.5 minutes in. Raymond has a rush chance that's saved. We get a power play for Detroit, and Armia scores shorthanded at 4:07. However, they don't finish the kill. DeBrincat scores at 4:54 from Sider and Sprong. That restores the 2-goal lead for the Detroit Red Wings. It's buried from the side of the net, and that's the 200th goal in the career of Alex DeBrincat. Kudos to him for that. Wings press for another. We get a power play for the Habs. That's killed off. The Wings clear it out after. Costin has a rush chance. That's defended. The Habs go back to the power play. It becomes a minute and 1 second of 5-on-3. Near miss for Caulfield. We end up with 33 seconds of 4-on-4. Larkin's denied. Allen holds. Everything's killed off. We go to the third period with the score 4-2 Detroit. In the third, we get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. And then the Habs get a power play. They score on theirs. It's Suzuki from Matheson at 4 minutes and 12 seconds. So the Wings go back to the power play after that. Montreal kills that one off as well. Pressed by the Wings at 8.5 minutes. With 6 minutes left, the shots are 12-7 Montreal, and they would score. It's Lindstrom from Anderson and Evans at 16 minutes. And suddenly, it's a 4-4 tie. We're going to overtime. Wings controlled early. Larkin has a wraparound that misses, but Wallman scores from Larkin and DeBrincat at 54 seconds. The Habs just couldn't get to the puck. So Detroit gets the win. They get the 2 points, 5-4 in overtime. They go to 13-7-3. But Montreal has to be pretty happy with getting a point here. They're 10-11-3. Shots on net, 11-7 Detroit in the first, 9-8 Detroit in the second, 15-10 Montreal in the third. All 3 shots in the overtime for Detroit. Final shots 33-30 Detroit. Power plays 1-for-4 for the Wings, 1-for-5 for Montreal. Hits 14-11 Detroit. Husso saves 26 out of 30. Allen saves 28 out of 33. So, yeah, pretty fun game there. All right, next up, Seattle and Ottawa. So Seattle, can we officially say Seattle's in serious trouble this year and it's just not working for them? So it's Decord versus Forsberg, good early back and forth. The Sens press 4 minutes into the game. Kubalik gets turned aside, it's cleared out. Yamamoto has a shot that deflects wide. There's a power play for Seattle, that's killed off. Pressed by the Sens at 8.5 minutes. Borgen fires one wide on a rush. Shots are 5-4 for Ottawa halfway through. Bjorkstrand gets denied at the net. Heavy press by the Kraken with 6 minutes left. We get a power play for the Sens. Shorthanded McCann, chances saved. They kill that off. And then Joseph. He scores at 17:21 on a turnover. He just outweights Decord. And yeah, so that goes in. Stützle then has a shot that's held. It's 1-0 for Ottawa after one. Second period, power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. No shots on the Ottawa power play. So this game stays close all the way through. Kraken press at 6 minutes. Forsberg denies Cartier. Forsberg having a really good game. Shots are 4-1 Seattle 8.5 minutes in. The Sens go back to the power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Tanev. They do kill that off. But then Batherson roofs one at 13:37 from Stützle and Tarasenko. The Kraken press with 5.5 minutes left. So they didn't give up. It's not like Seattle just let up and didn't play well. The Sens then press with 3 minutes left. Stützle gets shaken up. He was slow to get up. He would stay in the game, though. Kraken press with 2 minutes left. Stützle is then denied on a breakaway on that same shift where he got knocked down. Chabot has a rush that's denied in the closing seconds. So it's 2-0 Ottawa after 2. Third period. Early press by Seattle. I hate it when I notice a number is wrong on the board. It drives me crazy. Early press by Seattle. McCann fires one high. There's more pressure. Shots are 2-1 for the Kraken. 5 minutes in. Power play for Seattle. There's a near miss for Eberle. They cycle. Ottawa kills that off as well. Sens press at 9 minutes with 8:01 left. The Kraken go back to the power play. That's killed off. 2 shots. They do press afterwards. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left. Seattle goes offside with 1:45 left, just showing that they're having a hard time establishing. The Sens did try to pin it along the boards to kill off the clock. They do kill the clock. The final score is 2-0 for Ottawa. They go to 9-10, the Tony the Tiger Magnet, because Forsberg was great. The Kraken 8-11-6. So they've won 8 out of 25 games so far. Shots on net, 14-11 Ottawa in the first, 13-11 Seattle in the second, 15-3 Seattle in the third. Final shots, 39-28 Seattle. It's like they went to Forsberg before the third and said, so you're on your own from here, just so you know. We're just going to let them all shoot at you. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 3. The hits, both teams had 15. Decord saves 26 out of 28. Forsberg saved all 39 shots. So shutout for Forsberg, saving 39 shots. That's going to improve the stats I was talking about just yesterday. So kudos to him for that. I just think, when I see something like that, I think, well, he must have seen my video and gone, man, he's right. My numbers aren't. I know that's not the case, but sure in the back of my mind, I think it. All right. That being said, moving along. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, this was very entertaining. These teams meet again on Monday. I'm anxious to see it. So it's Ersson versus Jarry. Power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. They're 0 for their last 22. By the end of the night, that number's just increased. So Pittsburgh's power play has been a problem. Even though when you look at the manpower you can put on that power play, it's insane that it's struggling. So the Flyers press at 5 minutes. The Penguins press. They can't get to the net. Farabee has a rush that's defended. The shots and the block shots favor Philly. They were outworking Pittsburgh in that first period. Letang fires one wide as the Penguins press, but after the first period, it's scoreless. Second period. Power play for the Penguins. Malkin fires one wide. They cycle, and despite some really good looks, it's killed off by Philly. Power play for the Flyers. There's a shorthanded rush by Koppinen that happens then. The fans call one. The referee doesn't during the power play, and that power play is killed off. One shot during that. Farabee has a net feed that's picked off. Tippett has a backhand fired wide. The shots are 6-4 for the Flyers at 9 minutes. Power play for the Flyers, that's killed off as well. And then Letang deflects in. He gets the goal at 14:31. That opens the scoring. It's 1-0 for Pittsburgh. Penguins press for another. Tippett has a fast break chance that's held, and then he scores. It's been a while since he got a goal. He's been hot and cold this year. It might be a sign he's ready to heat up. Tippett scores from Forster at 16:47 with 43.2 seconds left. The Flyers have a power play. So that straddles the second and third period. And to start the third period, the Penguins do finish the kill. And then at 1:50, Gensel scores off of his skate, but there's no kicking motion. Gensel from Carlson and Rust, and that restores the lead for Pittsburgh. Brinks then denied on a net drive. We get a power play for the Penguins, but Lawton outweights Jarry and buries it. Sealer with the assist at 7:01, and that was with 1 second left in the power play. So good on him getting that shorthanded goal. At the last moment, it would have been a shorthanded goal. Shots are 7-6 for the Flyers with 9.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Philly, and they score on it. It's Forster. He scores, wires it from the slot. York and Couturier with the assists at 13:52. Flyers have a lead in Pittsburgh. Penguins press to respond. They pull the goalie with 1:35 left, and they would score. Gensel buries a rebound from Rust and Malkin at 19:38. 6-on-5, they looked good, and all I could think was, why can't they do that 5-on-4? So we go to overtime. Score tied at 3. Early Flyers 2-on-1 fizzles out. Letang's denied on a rush. There's a power play for the Penguins. They had chances, but we go to the shootout. And in the shootout, it is Couturier with the winner. And so the Flyers pull off a victory in Pittsburgh, 4-3 in overtime. They go to 12-10-2 with the win. Pittsburgh 11-10-2 with the overtime loss. So the records are very similar. Shots on net favored Philadelphia in the first 7-3, and in the second 15-8. In the third 15-11 for Pittsburgh, and in the overtime, Pittsburgh outshot them 6-1. Final shots 34-32 Philly. The Flyers go 1-for-4 on the power play. Pittsburgh 0-for-5. It's definitely a problem. Hits 31-23 for Philadelphia. Ersson saved 29 out of 32. Good night for him. And Jari was pretty good as well. 31 saves on 34 shots, but he did not get a goal tonight, so his goal-scoring streak ends. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, board number 2, Boston and Toronto. You know, I really thought Toronto was going to win this in overtime. I know people think I'm kidding, and he's a Bruins fan. He's messing with people. No, I thought Toronto was going to win this. So it's Ullmark versus Wall in this one. Early press by the Leafs. The Bruins then press at 2.5 minutes. They don't get shots. Shots are 4-0 Toronto 4.5 minutes in. We get a power play for the Leafs. That's killed off. The Bruins rush after. And then Pastrnak with a shot from a distance. Fools Wall. Carlo and Lindholm with the assists at 10:45. Boston's up 1-0. Bruins press with 7 minutes left with 3:57 left. Bruins with a power play. There's a toe save on Pastrnak during that. That's killed off. It's 1-0 Boston after 1. Second period. Early jump for Toronto. Pastrnak has a one-timer that he fires high. Leafs press at 6 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Ullmark, but then Boston gets a 2-goal lead. Shattenkirk from Pastrnak and DeBrusk at 7:31. It's the first goal Shattenkirk scored in his last 32 games. So it's been a while. Bruins press for another, but Toronto gets on the board. Matthews buries a rebound. Nylander and Nyes with the assists at 12:08. So if you're a Toronto fan, you've wanted Matthews to start scoring goals. There he is. Leafs then look to tie it. Riley has a shot kicked aside. Good forechecking by the Leafs. Tavares can't bury one in close. It's 2-1 after 2, but, you know, Boston's got the lead, but Toronto's been playing well. So third period, early press by the Leafs. And then on a 2-on-1 rush, Domi finally gets his first goal. He roofs it. Robertson and Yarncroke with the assists at 2:07. And you could see by his celebration, he was very happy he finally got that first goal. Leafs then look for the lead. The shots on net, though, are 2-1 Boston 6 minutes in. There's a post for Van Riemsdyk as the Bruins press. Matthews has a slot shot that deflects out. Tavares fires one wide from in close. The Leafs press with 8 minutes left. Eventually, Boston scores, though. It's seemingly like kind of against the flow of play here. You get Frederick from Forbert and Geekie at 13:10. The Leafs do press to answer. They pull the goaltender, and eventually it's Matthews from Marner and Tavares at 19:55. So they tie the game. It's going to overtime. The crowd's going absolutely insane. In the overtime, the Bruins controlled early. They had so many chances. Wall really earned his paycheck tonight. Pastrnak has a shot that's held. Zaka's denied on a break. Nylander's then denied on a break right after that. Marner's denied on a net drive. That's where I stopped writing it all down because I was running out of room. But at 4:52, Marchand buries a rebound. Pastrnak with the assist. It was on a turnover at center ice. And Boston wins this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 16-4-3 with the win. Toronto 12-6-4 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 10-7 Toronto in the first, 13-10 Toronto in the second, 12-9 Toronto in the third, 11-5 Boston in the overtime. Final shots are 40-37 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Power plays, both teams 0-for-1 on the power play. Hits 43-39 for Boston. Ullmark 37 saves on 40 shots, and Wall saves 33 out of 37. All right, I'll stop coughing soon, I promise. All right, next up, St. Louis and Arizona. So this was a bit of a surprise, only because, I figured it'll be close. Not really. So Hofer versus Ingram, Coyotes with an early edge with an early goal on a rush. It is Carconi on the first shot, Kerfoot and Stetcher at 40 seconds and from the inner slot too, so not much chance for Hofer there. Coyotes press, they have the momentum. There's a press by Arizona as well at 4.5 minutes. Zucker has a spin around that saved. Hayes with a rush chance, that's kicked aside. The Blues press at 9.5 minutes. We get a power play then for the Coyotes. Early clear by the Blues. It ends up coming 7 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off, and then the Coyotes get their second power play. They score on this one. It's Schmaltz from Kerfoot and Keller at 15:49. Starting to really like Kerfoot in Arizona, aren't they? And then at 19:22, one of those last-minute goals, Michelli scores from Krause and Kesselring. It's 3-0 for the Arizona Coyotes. And the goal magnets, I use the Howling Coyote for when they're wearing their desert jerseys at home, because that, I think, suits better than the Kachina. So it's 3-0 Arizona after one. Second period. Sod's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. The Blues press. The Coyotes block. Carconi has a rush chance. That's defended. Kyrou has a chance held. Power play for the Blues. That's killed off. The shots are 5-2 for the Blues at 8 minutes. We're into the Connor Ingram portion of the program. Krug has a rush chance. That's saved. There's a power play for the Blues. Krug's shot nearly deflects in, and his next chance is held, and there's some punching because Blues are getting frustrated. Shen has a slot shot. That's held. The power play's killed off. Krause has a rush that's defended. The Blues press in the final minute, but it remains 3-0 after 2 periods. Third period, early press by the Coyotes. Zucker has a chance that's saved. Falk has a blast held. Kapanen hits the outside of the net. Neighbors was denied next. Keller has a 3-on-2 chance. That's held. The Coyotes score, but it looks like a kick. And when the guy that scores the goal celebrates like, yay, he knows he kicked it in. So, yeah, that didn't count. Shots are 7-2 for the Blues at 9 minutes. And at 9:35, Sod scores to get them on the board. Sundqvist and Leddy with the assists. Schmaltz is then denied and close. Goalie pull happens with 3:30 left. But Schnavitz has a shot that's held, 3:02 left. The Blues with a timeout. The Blues thought they scored. It's a crossbar. And everybody on the ice seemed to go, oh, it's a goal. It's a crossbar. And even the referee was like, it's a goal. We're calling it a goal on the ice. But it's a crossbar. So if we didn't have instant replay, that'd be a phantom goal. I'm very glad for instant replay for moments like that. At any rate, the empty netter's hit by Kerfoot at 18:45, rewarding him for a very good game from the other end of the ice. And so the Coyotes win 4-1. They go to 12-9-2 with the win. The Blues drop to 12-10-1 with the loss. Shots on net 9-3 Arizona in the first, 15-7 St. Louis in the second, 14-6 St. Louis in the third. Final shots 32-22 for the Blues. Power plays 0-3 for St. Louis, 1-2 for Arizona. Hits 23-14 for St. Louis. Hofer saved 18 out of 21. Ingram saves 31 out of 32. So, again, entertaining game, but every game with St. Louis is bizarre. Every game with St. Louis is a bizarre thing to witness, and I really think I need to go over this as like a forensics kind of thing, like what is St. Louis? What am St. Louis? What are St. Louis? However we want to phrase it. Because St. Louis, it's odd watching their games. They should win games they lose. They should lose games they win. Some nights they're terrible, other nights they look fantastic. Anyways, that being said, we're going to move along. Colorado. And so they were in Anaheim against a team on an 8-game losing streak. Anaheim showed some fight back tonight. Good. This is the way they should play. It's Prosvetov versus Gibson at 36 seconds on a rush. Byram scores from Colton and Wood, and that was after there was a really good chance at the other end. So this game was started as a very wide open affair. We get a power play for the Avs. That's killed off. The Ducks press after, and they recovered from that slow start. They were leading in shots 7-4 at 6.5 minutes. But on their fifth shot, Colorado scores again. It's Byram again from Olofsson and Manson at 8:59. Avs press for another. Taves has a shot that's held. The Ducks, they end up drawing a power play, and they score on it. It's Henrique from Strome and Vetrano at 14:05. He buries that one from the side of the net. Avs then get a power play. Rantanen fires one wide. That power play's killed off. And then Taves. So all 3 goals in that first period by Colorado were by defensemen. Rantanen and McKinnon with the assists at 19:17. He fires that one top corner. So it's 3-1 Colorado after the first. And if you were expecting maybe they would switch to Dostal for the second period, wouldn't blame you. They don't. And it honestly ends up being a really good move. Avs control early. Gibson denies Jack Johnson. Drew then has a shot that's blocked. And then it's Leo Carlsson. Can we stop sitting Leo Carlsson and load managing the kid? He can play. I don't understand, unless they're trying to make sure he doesn't play enough games to... The whole unrestricted free agency thing, I think, might be part of it. But yeah, Carlson gets a goal from Killorn at 2:58. I think you play your best roster. Avs press at 5 minutes. We then get a power play for the Anaheim Ducks. Killorn has a net drive that's defended. And then with 1 second left in the power play, Anaheim scores. It's Killorn from Carlson and Minchukov at 10:34 or 10:24. Shots are 6-5 for the Ducks with 5 minutes left. McTavish has missed the second period. I did not see him return to the game. We get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. So yeah, then we get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. I had to deal with rabbits chasing each other. So after the second period of play, it is a 3-2 lead. No, it's a 3-3 tie, sorry, between Colorado and Anaheim. I'll catch up. I'll figure it out. It's not like I wrote it all at the top of the board or anything. Third period. Prosvetov's tested early. Things get pushed in a hole by Gibson. There's a power play for Anaheim. Jones has a shot that's held. Shorthanded Taves chances fired wide. That's killed off. Shots are 7-4 for the Ducks at 6 minutes. Taves has a shot tipped wide. Wood is denied on a fast break. Miles Wood had a good third period. Vakanainen's then denied from the slot. McKinnon has a rush chance that's held. We're going to overtime because it's Anaheim. Avs control early. I say that, and yet this year it's been different. We haven't seen this as much with Anaheim. Nichushkin fires one wide. We get a post for Leo Carlson. Again, the kid's ready to play every night. McKinnon has a rush chance that's saved. Vetrano has a shot that deflects high. We're going to a shootout. And who won it in the shootout? Leo freaking Carlson wins it in the shootout. Anaheim's 8-game losing streak is done. They're now 10-14. They can start digging their way out of this mess they've created. For Colorado, 15-6-2, and tomorrow night they're in LA. So this was the easier of the back-to-back. Because LA already lost at home against Colorado this year, and they're going to be looking for a measure of revenge tomorrow. So shots on net are 14 apiece in the first, 10-9 Anaheim in the second, 12-8 Colorado in the third. In the overtime, 5-2 for Anaheim. Final shots, 37-37. Power plays, Colorado 0-3, Anaheim 2-3. The hits, 20-18 for Anaheim. Prosvetov and Gibson both saved 34 out of 37. And considering that first period, the rough first period Gibson had, amazing recovery by John Gibson. All right, that being said, moving along, Vancouver and Calgary. So it's Demko versus Markstrom. These two goalies know each other pretty well. Of course, this was the debut for Zadorov as a member of the Canucks. Keep that in mind. Early edge for the Canucks. Kuzmenko has a net feed that's blocked, but on their first shot, the Canucks score. It's Hughes from Besser and Hronek at 2:02. Every time Zadorov touched the puck, there was booing. Shots are 3-0 Vancouver at 3 minutes. Lots of whistles in the first half of that period. Not very much flow. Canucks press at 6 minutes. Zari has a rush chance that's blocked. And at 8:37, Lafferty scores from Hronek and Mikheyev. So all of a sudden, Hronek with a couple of helpers, and the Canucks are up 2-0. Power play for Calgary. They score on it. It's Backlund from Ruzicka and Uyghur at 12 minutes and 18 seconds. So the Canucks penalty kill is starting to become a mild concern again for this Canucks fan, but that makes it 2-1. Canucks look to answer. There's a power play for Vancouver. A shorthanded rush by Coleman ends up ending that. It's 2-1 Vancouver after 1. Second period. Flames have a full power play to start the period. There was a delayed call for like the last 30 seconds of the first period. They just ragged the puck, so they would have the full clean sheet of ice to have the power play at the start. Near miss for Hanifin is cleared out. The Canucks kill that off. 2 shots for Calgary on that power play. Flames press after it ends. The Canucks, though, they press at 3.5 minutes, and they draw themselves a power play. They get 1:01 of 5-on-3, so a minute and 1 second. There's a post for Hughes. Miller fires one high, and that's all killed off. I think there's only 2 shots during that entire time. Lindholm to Mangiapane near miss. Flames draw themselves a power play. There's a shorthanded chance for Pettersson. That's saved. The power play's killed off. 1 shot for Calgary there. Canucks press with 3 minutes left. With 2:36 left, the Canucks get a power play. That's killed off, but before the period's out, at 19:32, Mikheyev roofs one from the side of the net. Lafferty and Hronek with the assists. So Sam Lafferty given a chance to play top minutes tonight. He played well. He had a goal and a helper. So that makes it a 3-1 lead for the Canucks. We're going to the third period. Flames press at 2.5 minutes. We get back-to-back icings by the Canucks. This is where they say the words I dread to hear. They're protecting the lead. Don't do that. I don't like when a team goes out there and just plays back, just 1 forechecker. We'll just give them they can just get to the red line. We're not worried about it. No. You forecheck, you play the way you did to get the 2-goal lead. It drives me crazy when a team changes like that. I think that's part of the reason why we see as many comebacks as we do in the NHL, because teams with a 2-goal lead just sit back. So, Canucks press at 9 minutes. The shots are 6-5 for Vancouver with 8 minutes left. Flames press with 5 minutes left, and eventually they score. Lindholm from Tanev and Sharangovich at 15:43. The Flames then press to tie it. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left. There was a delay when a fan got hit by a puck. But then the empty netter. Now, I've got it as Pettersson from Zadorov and Myers at 1840 because I thought Pettersson touched it. But the last time I looked at the app, it still says Zadorov from Myers. If it's still Zadorov's goal, it ends up being the game winner because it becomes a 6-on-4, and during the 6-on-4, Calgary scores. Huberdeau from Hanifin and Anderson at 1905. So they would pull the goaltender again, but that's as close as they get. Your final score is 4-3. Vancouver 16-8-1 with the win. Calgary drops to 10-11-3 with the loss, so they're back below NHL 500. Shots on net are 7 apiece in the first, 9-7 Vancouver in the second, 8-7 Calgary in the third. Final shots 23-22 for Vancouver. Power plays Vancouver 0 for 4, Calgary 2 for 5. Hits 15-11 for Calgary. Demko and Markstrom both had 19 saves on 22 shots, and again, the empty netter ends up being your game-winning goal. So kind of crazy when that happens, but it does happen. It always throws people off when they see that the goalies both allowed the same number of goals. They're like, wait a minute, that wasn't a shootout. How did that happen? Empty netters. That's why empty netters are important. All right, next up. Last game on this board and last game of the day, Washington and Vegas. Washington has played the same style of hockey 3 games in a row, and it finally bites them. So for the Washington Capitals, they just have not been generating shots. They've just been very opportunistic when they get those chances. It's Kemper versus Thompson. Good forechecking by the Caps. Amadio has a slot shot that saved. 3.5 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 for the Golden Knights. Caps press at 7.5 minutes. When they're pressing, though, they're not getting to the net. We get a power play for Vegas, and at 8:53 they score. It's Marchessault from Eichel and Pietrangelo. He wires that one from the slot. Don't look now. Vegas' scorers have started picking it up again. Ovechkin has a net feed. That's picked off. The Caps get zone time, but again, they're not getting shots. So after the first period, it's 1-0 Vegas. Second period, early Vegas power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Wilson. He fires it wide. Power play's killed off. No shots on net. Vegas presses after it ends. The shots are 4-0 Vegas, 5 minutes in. Cotter has a chance. That's held. The Caps press at 6.5 minutes, but they don't get shots out of it. So again, that's the storyline there. Barbashev has a net feed that's picked off, and then on a turnover and on a breakaway, Eichel scores from Hutton at 7:56, makes it 2-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Caps look to respond. There's a press by Vegas with 9 minutes left. We get a power play for Vegas. That's killed off, but Vegas goes back to the power play with 1 minute and 34 seconds left. Capitals were not happy with the officiating tonight. I would think Caps fans probably aren't either, but we go over into the third period. The Caps finish the kill. At 50 seconds, though, shortly after it's done, Stone scores from Eichel and Barbashev. It was a great pass by Eichel to set that up. He's going around behind the net, and he feeds it backwards to Stone. I don't think anybody even saw it. I don't think anybody had any idea. He faked everybody out. So that makes it 3-0. Caps look to respond. Stone to Eichel. There's a near miss. These guys are really getting some chemistry together. Caps press at 6.5 minutes. The shots are 5-2 Washington at 8.5 minutes, which equals the highest shot total they had in either of the previous 2 periods. Power play for Washington is killed off. Vegas clears after it's done. Haig has a wrister. That's held. Strome's denied as the Capitals are pressing. Fans call when the referee doesn't. And then is Tom Wilson scoring to get the shutout off the board. He scores from Strome at 16:46, but Vegas answers into the empty net. It's Marchessault from Cotter and Carlson at 18 minutes. We then go to 4-on-4 to finish out the game. Your final score is 4-1 for Vegas. They go to 16-5-4 with the win. Washington 12-7-2 with the loss. So shots on net are 10-5 Vegas in the first, 18-4 Vegas in the second, and then 13-8 Washington in the third. Final shots 36-22 for Vegas. Power plays 0 for 1 for Washington, 1 for 4 for Vegas. Hits 22-17 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Kemper saves 32 out of 35, and Thompson saved 21 out of 22. So there you go. You're all caught up for tonight. I still have the power rankings, of course, tomorrow's preview to do as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. And if you haven't already hit like and subscribe, now's the perfect time to do so. Thanks for your support. I'll talk to you again soon.